I came to office, the conventional wisdom was that China would inevitably surpass the United States. That's not the case anymore.
That was President Biden addressing the nation last night for the first time since dropping out of the presidential election, touting his China policy. Just hours before that speech, however, the U.S. sent out fighter jets to intercept 2 Chinese and 2 Russian long-range bombers off the coast of Alaska. With our adversaries gearing up. Chinese state media also slamming Vice President Kamala Harris, calling her, quote, mediocre, claiming that she lacks the experience to serve as president. But Secretary of State Antony Blinken said that foreign policy is one of Harris's strengths. Watch.
Very much is her forte because, as I said, I've seen her not only around the world, but I've seen her on the most critical foreign policy questions of our time in the Situation Room at the White House, in the Oval Office with the president.
Joining me now is Gatestone Institute senior fellow, author of The Coming Collapse of China and China is Going to War, Gordon Chang, back with us. Gordon, good to see you. Thanks very much for being here. What is your sense of a Harris presidency and what that would mean for America's policy regarding China?
Well, a couple things. As you pointed out, China called her mediocre, which I think is giving her much more credit than she deserves. The Chinese look at her as easy pickings. And one thing that we've got to look at is that every new president comes into office thinking that he can or she can do better than his or her predecessor. So they give China a 2-year pass. And that was what China is counting on with regard to Harris. You know, with regard to her foreign policy expertise, we have watched the world fall apart during the Biden administration. And if she was very good on foreign policy, this would not be happening. Yeah. So I think that the Secretary of State is involved in some great inflation here because we don't see any evidence that she has a foreign policy forte.
Well, the media is falling in line. I mean, it looks like a complete rewrite of Kamala Harris's performance this morning, whether it's the New York Times or members of the administration. They claim she had nothing to do with Biden's economic policy. And of course, as you say, foreign policy as well is being heralded as so great. Goldman Sachs' chief economist for the Asia Pacific says officials in Beijing are likely saving their fiscal firepower in case China needs to withstand blowback from another potential Trump presidency. So that's what they're saying. But you disagree. You say that China has far less firepower than it claims. You've got this new op-ed out in the Hill titled China's having its 2008 financial crisis at the worst possible time. Gordon, tell us about it.
Well, you know, first of all, President Biden, who is trying to take credit, what he was looking at was basically failure in China due to the policies of Xi Jinping and his predecessor, Hu Jintao. They delayed the 2008 crisis, and it's having it now. And to any extent that American policy has had an effect, it was President Trump's tariffs in 2018 that has accelerated the crisis. Biden, on the other hand, has been helping China by dog whistling to American business to stay there. So really what you've got right now in China is a problem because they don't have the ability to use fiscal stimulus to get their economy going again. In the first quarter, they spent 10.8 units in order to get 1 unit of gross domestic product. And in the second quarter, it was 4.2 units to get 1 of GDP. This shows you that fiscal stimulus isn't working. So China doesn't have firepower. And it doesn't have firepower because it's having its 2008. Goldman Sachs is just wrong about this.
China is now appearing to cast itself as the peacemaker in recent days. Ukraine's foreign minister telling his Chinese counterpart during a meeting in the southern Chinese city outside of Beijing yesterday that Kyiv is open to talks if Russia was ready to act in good faith. Senior officials from the Palestinian factions Hamas and Fatah also signing an agreement on Tuesday aimed at ending their division and building unity after talks in Beijing, Gordon. So Beijing wants to appear as if it is the, diplomat of the world or peacemaker, despite we know it has been helping or supporting Russia in its efforts to crush Ukraine.
Yeah, China has made some foreign policy gains because what it's done is it's set fires around the world, and then it's watched while the participants go to Beijing to try to get China to act responsibly. And that's exactly what happened with the Ukrainian foreign minister. Xi Jinping greenlighted the invasion of Ukraine, and since then he's providing all-in support, including lethal aid. So of course Ukraine wants to go to China to get them to stop doing that. You know, yes, Beijing is trying to show itself as a peacemaker, but what it's really doing is it's waging proxy wars on 3 continents right now, and at the same time it's pressuring its neighbors: India, Japan, Taiwan, the Philippines. So yeah, this is how China portrays itself as a peacemaker.
I mean, would you expect Kamala Harris to have the same soft policy on China as Joe Biden has had?
Yeah, I think so, because we have no indication that she wants to take a tougher line on China. And Biden has been China's best friend in many respects. Remember, COVID-19, according to Johns Hopkins, has killed 1.2 million Americans. Biden has never asked Xi Jinping about the origins of this disease.
Right.
We haven't heard anything from Kamala Harris on this.
Yeah, that's great. Great point, Gordon. Okay, good to see you this morning, sir. Thank you.